gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Yes, welcome back. This is Sports and Sorts, and I believe this is episode 143. We are out here on Wednesday morning, and an early start to our Sports and Sorts day. We normally go live on YouTube every Monday at 10, Wednesday at 11, and Saturday at 10, but sometimes, particularly around the holiday season and other parts of seasons, we will go a little early or a little late. But, if you follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman, you will know when we go live, because I usually try and post something a little bit before the show starts. And also, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, because that is how you'll ultimately get it. It'll get sent to your email and all that kind of stuff, so you will know exactly when we go live. But anyway, I am one of your hosts. My name is Shane Moore.
And I'm the Brian Man.
And once again, you can follow the show on Twitter as well. Shane at Shane and Brian Man. Facebook.com/Shane and the Brian Man. You can find us anywhere podcasts are played, on iTunes, iHeartRadio, all those places. What do we have on tap for today? Well, I lost a bet. That is one thing. The Redskins make a very interesting or head-scratching signing. The White House puts up its Christmas lights, and moving on to the NFL, Thursday Night Football, where Thursday Night Football has given us some pretty darn good matchups this year, and we will be talking about tomorrow's game. Then, of course, the MLB, because signings are starting. They're slowly creeping their way. Donaldson gets signed to the Braves, which I think is a brilliant move. But we also have Mad Bum rumors out there. Patrick Corbin out there. He just visited the Phillies. And Cano is which place in New York is he going to end up? We got a great show, so let's go.
You are listening to Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bryman.
Sometimes when I start the show, I kind of have an idea of where I'm going to go, and then sometimes I just get off topic a little bit. And I wanted to say, then we have the MLB. Mad Bum, Corbin, and Cano. We got a great show. Let's go. And it didn't, that would have worked so much better.
You choked. You choked in the moment.
I did. Yeah, I did. I absolutely choked in the moment. Oh, well. What are you going to do?
It happens.
It happens. Sometimes you choke in the moment. So it's official. I have lost the Matty Ice and Red Rifle bet. Red Rifle has been put on IR, and unless Matty Ice channels his inner Nathan Peterman, I will have lost this bet. So I am practically conceding. I am holding out hope, the 2% chance that Matty Ice turns into a crazy pick-throwing machine. But, because the one saving grace that I had this year was the Bengals had a better record. They had a better record. They still have a better record.
Yes.
But Matt Ryan has obviously had a better year as a quarterback, because he's had to throw a ton, because his defense stinks. I mean, his defense isn't quite as bad as the Bengals' defense, which is on the verge of being historically the worst defense of all time. But Matty Ice has put up some serious numbers, so it's not looking good. Health is a factor. I have a red rifle without any ammunition here. So
if you come to the Christmas party, you feel free to bring my 6-pack of beer.
Yeah, I think
that'll be fun. That'll be fine.
Well, 6-pack, 4-pack, whatever pack it comes in.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could just be like a 16-ounce growler or something. I don't know.
Hey, whatever you want to do.
Whatever I want to do.
I will take that beer off your heads.
Yes, I'm sure you will. So we have that going, and it looks like I have lost the bet. So I'm just gonna.
You know what though? You shouldn't feel too bad. You were trending to lose this bet anyway. Matt Ryan was having a good year.
He's having a great year.
He's putting together a good year. Dalton's been.
He's a top 3 fantasy quarterback. Dalton is having a much better year than Matty Ice had last year. Because Matty Ice last year went 22-12 or something like that. So he is having a better year than Matt Ryan had last year.
I understand, I think, why you made the bet. It just didn't work out for you. That's all.
It did not.
Don't
It did not at all. And it's I will say, Matt Ryan has better weapons to throw to.
Of course he does.
He has a lot better weapons. He has
My
more
God.
weapons. And that is the unfortunate part here. I was hoping, I was actually hoping that the Bengals defense wouldn't be historically the worst of all time.
Yeah, it hasn't helped the last few games either that AJ Green's been out. That hurts. That hurts. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, him and Julio Jones are similar level. I mean, Julio Jones is better.
Yes,
but
Julio Jones.
AJ Green is a high level top 5 to top 10 wide receiver.
Julio Jones like a top 4, and you got AJ Green who's in the top 10.
AJ Green's the top 10. I mean, you lose a guy like that, and your options are limited.
Boyd isn't as useful, and and it's a trickle down effect, especially.
He was behind the 8 ball early. Once Tyler Eifert went down, and I know Eifert hasn't been very reliable, but when he is healthy, Tyler Eifert's a really, really good pass catching tight end. And it was just a bad omen from the beginning. So I'll collect my beer and we'll move on to the next bet, whatever that is.
All right, so let's move on to something a little bit more head-scratching. The Redskins make a move by signing Reuben Foster, which is very similar to the Houston Astros move when they picked up Roberto Osuna. And both of us did not think it was a great signing. I have always said I'm willing to give people second chances. These kind of accusations are a little more difficult to give anybody a second chance. I think that I don't know all the details, so I'm not going to pretend like I do. But this is really head scratching by the Redskins, and especially since they don't have their quarterback anymore. It's unlikely that this year is going to be a successful year anyway. This seems like a big reach, and you're diving into into Pandora's box almost. Like you're signing someone that's just kind of like it's already adding more fuel to the flames, and it's really, really head scratching to me. And I don't think it's appreciated by most fans. It's
absolutely disgusting. It's a very Redskin-like move. I think that's probably the only non-surprise here is that it was the Redskins who did this. The Redskins, Daniel Snyder he's kind of I don't know if I want to call him a scumbag. It's really hard. It's a harsh term. But this is so Daniel Snyder of a move. To pick up a guy not days after he's cut by the Niners for domestic violence. And then what was just as bad too is Daniel Snyder couldn't write the little PR note himself. He threw Doug Williams, the one guy who's probably most respected in that organization.
Yeah.
They had him put his name on this thing, and they threw him to the wolves. But we all know this is a Daniel Snyder move. This isn't a Doug Williams move. Doug Williams is the guy, they found the one guy in the organization who has any respect attached to him, and they put his name on this note. That was despicable too. But man, you just talk about a bad look for the Redskins. As if the Redskins don't have enough bad looks. As it is, they should have changed their logo years ago. They still won't do it because, let's be honest, it's money making. That's a popular logo, and in the Washington, D.C. area, you have a lot of people buying sports apparel with that logo on it, and Daniel Snyder's not going to give it up. Even though I think that's stupid because I think he could make a ton more money launching a new marketing campaign with a new brand and a new logo, and you'd sell stuff all over again. So I don't really understand what the holdup is there. But Daniel Snyder goes by the beat of his own drum. I will say this for him. That guy does not give one rat's patoot about what anybody thinks of him. Because if he did, he would not have done something like this. This is just bad. I'm with you. I'm with you on second chances, right? I mean, especially when it comes to like PED stuff. If a guy takes, I don't think that guy, depending on the caliber of player he is, should get into the Hall of Fame. That's a different story. But getting a second chance to play the game again, yes, I believe he should.
Yeah.
I think baseball, I think it should be like a 3-strike you're out kind of thing. That's sort of how I look at it. If you abuse drugs, 3 times and you're caught 3 times and you know the rules and you keep breaking them, then you really shouldn't be allowed to play the game. But I certainly believe in a second chance. Yeah. But the problem with this is 10 times and more worse than PED abuse. Mm-hmm. You're talking about domestic violence. You're talking about putting your hands physically on another person and harming them. But the message that you are sending when you sign a guy like this so quickly after he's been charged and arrested with domestic violence is a really bad message. And here's what it goes to show you. What happened with the Astros, what the Redskins are doing, we've said it before. No matter what, whether it's right or wrong, and it's absolutely wrong, talent trumps everything.
Yeah.
Because if you have talent in any sport or any profession, you will get another chance regardless of how egregious the act is that you have committed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is because there are times where people double down. Baker Mayfield, for instance, just recently doubled down. He had that whole instance with Hugh Jackson at the end of the
That's
last
just
game.
doubling down on trash talking.
Right, but then he doubled down there, and then he came back and he did it in the conference, and then he came back and he did it on social media. Like he keeps doubling down on that kind of stuff. That's fine. That stuff you can be. But the Redskins are doubling down on this kind of stuff too, because for one, they signed Reuben Foster, which is a really bad move, I think, in most people's minds. But this is coming off of Adrian Peterson, who they already signed him, who had the issues with the switch and the kids and all that kind of stuff. And he recently doubled down and said, yes, I still physically, reprimand my kids. And he doubled down on that. And then they go and sign Reuben. It's like, the way you're getting your organization into here is really, really hot water. Like you really gotta distance yourself at this point in time. Like you either gotta cut Adrian Peterson, and Reuben, or at least just be like, you know what? After vetting Reuben Foster a little bit more, we realize this is probably not a good idea. We're gonna move on and get rid of him, because you gotta do something. You can't keep doubling down. It's just it's a really bad look on the organization.
And again, but Adrian Peterson continues to prove the point. Talented guy, having a good year.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Right.
Fans don't care. If I were a Redskin fan, I'd be like that Homer Simpson gif right now where he just like slowly is backing into the bushes. Yeah. Like that should be a Redskin fans right now.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'll tell you what. As much as I can't stand the Dolphins, I mean, even they're not doing stupid stuff like this. At least there are other organizations out there that sometimes make you feel not so bad about being a Dolphin fan. Yeah. And the Redskins are one of them.
Yeah,
the Redskins are absolutely one of them.
All right, so let's move on. We're going to head on over to Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football, Saints versus the Cowboys. Cowboys are not favored in this game, even though they're at home. The Saints are the best team in the league as of right now. Cowboys got a great defensive line. Saints have a great O-line. Who you got?
Something's got to give, right?
Yeah, something's got to give here.
I'll tell you what's going to give is the Cowboys defense is going to give. They're going to cry uncle on this one. And there's already some trash talking going on too by the Cowboys defense, which I think is a really bad idea.
Let me get you. I can read some of that for you.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
As of right now, it was a little bit of trash talk by DeMarcus Lawrence. He was doing some trash talking. And then on top of that, he paid some respects to Drew Brees and their offense. But then he kind of went back and was like, we're going to get to him, kind of deal. So one of the things he says, I don't know, expletive. I got to see first, he told Calvin Watkins of The Athletic. They ain't faced us. We don't know yet. We can't talk about it afterwards. I'll be honest with you, too. What else did he say? We've been talked up as being the difference, he said. They're going to have to match our intensity, expletive, for 60 minutes straight. If you hit expletive in the mouth, they ain't doing what they are regularly doing and putting up 50 points. And they start getting a little distressed. So now you got them where you want them at. And then expletive, choke, they expletive out.
I'll tell you, that's fine if you want to tug on Superman's cape, but the funny part is about the Cowboys is, I understand that they are in the theoretical driver's seat in the NFC East right now, but you're in the driver's seat of a really crappy division.
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat of a division that, although it boasts the defending Super Bowl champion, that team's just been in a complete fog since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and then
they just have not been able to
didn't start with Carson Wentz, and then they finally got Carson Wentz back. He was still a little rusty, and then their secondary went in shambles. Their team is just is a hot mess.
And then you've got the Giants, whose name you won't even speak at this point.
No, and then they almost had their opportunity. They had the opportunity to get their name brought back in, but dropped the ball again.
And then you had the bend but don't break Redskins, who then literally lost their starting quarterback to a
pretty bad break.
Yeah, really gross break.
Mm-hmm. An
so you're
ending break, which
you're the toast of the town in the NFC East, but that's really not saying much at all. I mean, that's just that is really nothing to hang your hat on.
Normally, we'd be saying that's the best division in football, but this year it's just been it's been competitive.
Well, it's competitive, but not in a good way. It's competitive because all the teams stink.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys are the best of the worst. And they are now going against arguably, if not unquestionably, the best team in the NFL. That's hard to say because the Rams and the Chiefs are both really, really good. Mm-hmm. But I'll give them the nod over the Rams because they beat them head to head. We'll see about the Chiefs. But the one thing I can say about the Saints is that their defense is better than the Chiefs. And they're starting to play a little better. I just don't like this I don't like this matchup for the Cowboys. I understand they're feeling confident in their defense. Their defense has played well or better. But this is not the matchup to start flexing your verbal muscles when Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas and Mark Ingram and
there was a chance. I would say there was a chance that there was going to be where the Cowboys had the opportunity to come in and get them while, because the Saints have been playing incredible. And you can always get a team that's playing incredible. You can always catch them off guard from time to time. But when DeMarcus Lawrence comes in and says all this stuff, that now you're adding bulletin board material, which then they might not have been extremely prepared for this because they were kind of like, yes, they have a great D-line, let's work on that, and then we'll just go about our game plan. Now, especially with Sean Payton, this is a guy who will literally stomp on your throat.
I was actually
bury
really
you
happy.
Underneath the water.
I was really happy when I saw the quote because I was like, great, thank you. You've just given Drew Brees and Kamara more incentive to put points on the board and be merciless about it, and I've got them in some fantasy leagues, so bring it on. Keep talking. Drew Brees is going to throw 4 touchdowns tomorrow night. Yeah. Kamara's going to, probably catch one and run for 2. It'll be great. So, fine by me. We're getting towards playoff season here in fantasy football. So hey, but listen, I got the Saints winning this game comfortably. I'm going to go with a final score of 39-22.
Ooh,
Saints.
That's a big score. That is a big score. I'm kind of with you here. On one hand, I'm like, you know what? This defensive line could literally put some pressure on them. It could cause some major disruptions. But the Saints' defense is good too, and Sean Payton is smart enough to understand if Ezekiel Elliott goes for over 100 yards, there is a good chance that the Cowboys are, if not going to win, they're going to be close to winning, and he knows that. So he is going to take that option away. Just like Bill Belichick would, just like Sean McVay would. Like, there are a lot of teams that will do that. They will take away your best option, and they're going to make Dak and Amari Cooper and Beasley and all them beat him. And nobody thinks that can actually happen, especially when you're going up against the Saints offense, who's probably going to put up over 30 points. The Cowboys don't typically do that. They don't do that. So I'm going to say I'm kind of with you here. I don't think they score quite as many as 39. I had them at 35 points, but I do have the Cowboys scoring 24 because I get nervous, especially early, that the Cowboys will end up getting maybe a strip sack. They'll get really lit up. But then, the Saints are they're a veteran team. They have one of the best veteran quarterbacks of all time, and he is going to rally his troops. Don't worry about it. We're going to put points on the board. There could be something crazy that happens early, or just in general with the defense, where they end up putting some points or getting themselves into good scoring position due to that. So I think that it's gonna be a little bit close, particularly in the first and second quarter, but I think you're just gonna see the better team, the cream rise to the top, and you're gonna see the better team, the Saints, just end up rolling them. And then when the Cowboys are kind of it's starting to spread away, like it's starting to go, like the score is starting to get bigger and bigger, it's not gonna stop because Peyton's gonna be like, you know what? Those comments? All right, now we're going to keep piling on because he is competitive and he is mean-spirited. So he will absolutely do that.
I like that. I like that in a coach.
So I think watch out, Cowboys fans. This could be a rough one. I don't see Dak having a huge game. I don't see him throwing for 330 yards, 350 yards with 3 or 4 touchdowns, which is what he'll have to do to beat this Saints team.
I will say this for the Cowboys. I mean, that's been a good trade, the Amari Cooper trade. He's looked really good. He's looked really good, really very rejuvenated. I mean, which is kind of strange. I think he took a downgrade in terms of quarterback from Carr to Prescott, but it's the change of scenery's worked for him.
Yeah, it's been good, but I still don't think he's a legit number one yet. Like he's a number one, but he's like at the middle to bottom tier of a number one.
He's like a low end.
But it has helped Ezekiel Elliott a ton. Sure. That has helped Ezekiel Elliott a ton. It hasn't helped Dak a ton, but it's helped Ezekiel Elliott, which has helped put wins on the board. All right, so that's pretty much it for that. Let's head on over to what we got next. What else did we want to talk about today? You know what we can get into? Some MLB.
Sure.
Want to get into some MLB? Because there's been lots of rumors out there. Tons of rumors.
Yeah.
Tons of trade rumors, particularly, they said Mad Bum was on there. Well, let's go.
Play ball!
There we go. And Mad Bum gets put out there as a trade. They're going to... Oh, my God, loud. That crowd is wild. They're crazy for the rumors right now. Mad Bum... The Giants said, we will listen. We will listen to trades. And
it's a smart move. I would too.
You will get a ton for him, even though he doesn't. I mean, what does he have? 2 years left, like next year and the year after? Or is
it's just this year. He's free agent after this year. So
this is going to be, and you're still going to get a ton for this guy.
Yes.
And then there's a lot of people like on different Yankees groups and stuff like, oh my God, you actually had a comment on one of them. Like, is this gonna impact because we got rid of Justice Sheffield for it? No. Justice Sheffield, yes, that would have helped, but we have so many other trade chips that we can offer. Many trade chips.
There is a part of me that wonders, because you've heard, and a lot of the scouts are kind of backing it up, so it doesn't seem like the Yankees are blowing smoke, but you've heard a lot of talk about how there is a lot of interest in Sonny Gray. And I almost wonder if Cashman has held that chip, thinking the possibility. Now, I'm not saying that Sonny Gray is the centerpiece of a trade that gets you Mad Bum, but he's definitely part of it.
But I will say, Sonny Gray,
part of it, though.
Sonny Gray last year, everybody trashes him how bad he pitched last year, and he pitched bad.
Look at the home road splits
in New York. He pitched bad. He pitched to a 3.17 ERA on the road.
Right.
So you just gotta. He's not pitching in New York. Don't worry about it.
He would pitch very well in San Francisco.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is it's a hitter. It's a pitcher's friendly park.
Pitcher's park. Yep. He would pitch really well there.
And it's where he grew up. Like that is the optimal place for him.
It really is. That's a good landing spot. Now again, that's not the headline of the trade. That's part of the package. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's no question you would put him in there. Right, exactly. Yeah. So you get a little bit of control. But I mean, obviously, if you're the Yankees, I think any package for Madison Bumgarner has to include Sonny Gray, probably Chance Adams, probably Esteban Florial, probably Clint Frazier, and who knows, maybe Estrada. You don't want to give up that much, but listen, this is the guy. To me, Madison, I had this conversation with my brother. To me, Madison Bumgarner, and I know maybe some of the numbers are starting to show that he is trending maybe down a little bit, but to me, he is what Curt Schilling was to the Red Sox in 2004. If you go get Mad Bum, and your rotation is Mad Bum, forget about what you give it up, because you know it's going to be a lot, but if that rotation is Mad Bum, Paxton, Severino, and Tanaka, the Yankees should win the division. And I know that's look, because the Red Sox are going to be great. They're going to be good again. There's no doubt about it. They're going to be right there again.
Did you even put Corbin in there?
Well, I wouldn't even include Corbin at that point. I think he'd end up being a Philly. But if the Yankees are still a team that has the chips to pull off that move. The question is whether or not the Giants would demand Andujar. And if they would, I'd still give him up, but you got to lessen some of the other stuff, though.
Well, see, this is what I think's going on here, and that's why they were possibly kicking the tires on Cano, is because now one, they don't necessarily right now. The way that everything stands, they don't need Cano. They don't need Machado. Like they could, I assume what they would be doing is they'd be moving Cano mainly to first base. That's where he would play most of the time. He'd probably play first. And you know what? That would be a good fit as far as that goes. Because
it'd be a good fit in the latter stages of his career,
right,
too.
Yes, because he's still a slick fielder, but he just doesn't have as much range. He's still got a good arm. He's going to make the plays. But first base might be a better spot. Third base,
he'd hit in Yankee Stadium.
Oh yeah, I mean
he can. So.
He didn't hit for a ton of home runs in Seattle because that's a hitter. That's a pitcher's park. I mean, it's not really the best park for someone like him. He's not the one that's going to hit a ton of bombs. He's going to be clear.
I don't want Robinson Cano back in pitching.
I know you don't. I know
almost under any circumstances, unless the Mariners are including Edwin Diaz in that trade, and they're eating a ton of money on that contract.
They would.
And they're taking Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah, I think you would be, and I think so. This season, this offseason could be absolutely nuts because you could literally see Cano and Diaz come to the Yankees. Betances get traded. He could be a person that's involved in the Mad Bum trade.
He could,
and there are so many.
I wouldn't want that, but yeah, he could.
I mean, you're talking Diaz because then you're replacing Betances, who is a little bit older. But so this could really be a huge snowball effect here, where you get Cano, you get Diaz, you trade Betances, Gray, Andujar, and then you get Mad Bum, and there's just so many things that could go on. There could also be an issue where when they get Machado, then that frees up an Andujar trade. So there are a lot of things that I can see why Cashman's doing what he's doing now, because obviously Mad Bum is available, but you don't have the main chip that you have to really put in there is probably Andujar to really get this thing ironed out. And you can't go. But I do think they should still move Torres to third, and you should sign DJ LeMahieu. That would be my optimal. And then you could still trade Andujar, and you don't have to make that $30 million splash.
Here's the thing, though. As much as I would love Mad Bum, and he's my favorite. I mean, he's literally hanging on my Christmas tree over here. You got to be able to get an extension with him, though. You have to be granted a 24-hour window to negotiate a contract extension because you can't just have him for 1 year. You can't give up that many assets and then allow him to hit free agency where he could leave.
Yes, that I would think that would almost be a guarantee. I mean, unless the only thing that could really help. I mean, but Mad Bum already has a couple. But is if they go to the World Series and just absolutely destroy, and then he had the world just embraces him like that. I could see then him, absolutely resigning. But you can't give up as much if you can't guarantee yourself, a nice way to extend him.
I mean, again, it's just he's a guy that if he becomes available and the price is right, you have to pull the trigger. You just have to. He's just that good. He swings the balance of power, not just in the American League East, but in general to the Yankees,
absolutely,
where they become prohibitive favorites. I mean, they would have to be the favorites to win the World Series because that is a postseason move. That's a move that you make to get a guy like him to start him in game one of a playoff series. And again, if you're the Yankees, the other thing here too, it's important to leapfrog the Red Sox too, because you really, really want to avoid this wild card game, because it's not just that play-in game that makes things nervous, but you are on the road. Your road to the World Series has to go not through Yankee Stadium. It goes through opposing ballparks. In order for you to get to the World Series, you're going to play the majority of the games on the road, which means you have to win games on the road. I'm not saying you can't. Good teams should be able to win games on the road. But it definitely makes it harder. It's like in the NFL. I mean, you want that bye week, you know? Mm-hmm. If you're in baseball, you want to win your division and avoid the wild card game and have as much of the path as possible to the World Series go through your home ballpark. It's really just that simple. To me, you get a guy like Madison Bumgarner, I mean, look, barring injury, that makes you the favorite. Now, will it play out that way? Who knows? We won't know until the season plays out. But that's the move. That's the Curt Schilling 2004 move. That's how the Yankees respond. If you're the Yankees and you want to see history repeat itself, but in sort of a reverse manner, then you go out and you get that guy, and then suddenly you're the 04 Red Sox. That's the move. That's the guy you get. Mm-hmm. That's the guy that swings the balance of power. If he is available, Brian Cashman needs to do more than kick the tires on that. He needs to make a strong, strong offer that the Giants just can't refuse. And he has if there is one team that has the chips of both major league ready and minor league talent, I can't imagine there's another team out there that can offer any better than the Yankees. There may be some teams that can match it, but he's got the right mix. They have the financial flexibility to sign him to an extension if it's something that Mad Bum would be willing to listen to.
Right. And so for me, this is how I would go about the offseason for the Yankees. I would make the Cano deal. I know you don't want him, but I would make the Cano deal. I would try and get Diaz, and you do whatever you have to do. You have to give up Ellsbury. Obviously, there might be a little switch there, and then you obviously give up one of your prospects. Something maybe not Florial, but something along those lines.
Yeah, not Florial.
But you're going to have to give up something for Diaz.
Because, probably maybe Estrada, but not Florial. To me, Florial. If you're giving up Florial, then I said this months ago. If you're giving up Estevan Florial, then the other name on the name on the other end of that has to be Madison Bumgarner.
But there has to be some offset of contracts here.
No, yes,
Ellsbury only has 2 years, and Cano has 4 or 5.
Has 5.
So there's got to be some offsetting there for the Yankees to have it make sense.
So they need money. They need them to pay.
And that's
some
what
of Cano's.
I mean. And to get the money, you might have to part with a top tier prospect.
I mean, I can't. It can't be Florial.
Yeah,
I don't care if you get Diaz back. That's a fleecing. Then if they get Florial out of that,
but. So you have that. You have those. Then I would personally sign DJ LeMahieu. You're not going to have to spend $30 million a year on him. You're probably looking closer to maybe 15, 18, something along those lines per year. I'm not exactly sure what he's looking at, what he's commanding. He is a really good second baseman, both defensively and offensively. And then I would take Torres or Andujar and then have them at third. So this is the trade that I would offer for Mad Bum. I would give Sonny Gray, Betances, because you got Diaz, and Andujar or Torres plus Frazier. And you have the 24-hour negotiation window. And then not only that, because you saved the money on not having to sign Machado or Harper, you still have money left over for Corbin. Now you're talking Tanaka, Sevy, Corbin, Mad Bum, Paxton.
Well, that's not going to happen because I still think they see CeCe as their fifth guy.
But
they haven't, which I disagree with because he's going to spend half the season on the DL.
Right, which is why I think they might go to a 6-man rotation.
I think they should.
To keep players like Paxton healthy, Tanaka, who
keep
seems to pitch
CC
better.
healthy, too.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Everybody.
if they go to a 6-man rotation, they have Corbin, Mad Bum, Paxton, Sevy, Tanaka. All those guys would benefit from rest.
Right.
So
and then
that would be huge.
And then your sixth guy is a future Hall of Famer.
Right.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
I mean, and
I would not have a problem with a six-man rotation.
Talking about splitting. I mean, you'd have Tanaka as a righty, Sevy as a righty, and everyone else is your lefties.
Yeah.
That is optimal right there. That right there that almost makes me want to tear up and cry a little bit. Like hearing that, if they actually pulled that off. Wow. And I know people don't like Cano. I know that because of what he did, and then he had the PED situation. But if he came back and he did well, he batted .300, he hit 22 bombs, he had 90 RBIs, and he's clean. He's clean.
All would be forgiven. Sure.
All would be forgiven, and he's not going to make the Hall of Fame, but all would be forgiven, and we would be, and especially if he played a solid first base, because we haven't had that. Like, the best first base that we had was Greg Bird, and he was above average.
Yeah.
And then he just could never hit. I mean, that's another guy you could just throw in for, S and G's.
Sure.
You could throw him into one of these trades, and then maybe he would, like in San Francisco, might do a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There is a lot of people. There's a lot of things a lot of chips that they have available, and I would really like to see something like that get made. I know that a lot of the league is going to balk at it because they're not going to want to see this monopoly of left-handers in the Yankees, system. But I'm telling you that I might cry if that actually happens. If what I just said, Cano, Diaz, and then LeMahieu, Torres or Andujar gets dealt in the trade, but one of them stays at third, and then you have, the Mad Bum trade goes down, Corbin gets signed. I can't even talk. I
think it's virtually impossible. It's like a dream scenario. It's way too good to be true.
It's a dream, but it all makes sense.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm just saying
I'm not being like completely over the top.
You're asking for a lot of things to fall into place there.
That's the biggest thing. Is that will the Phillies pressure Corbin to sign quicker? That's the biggest deal right there.
So the Phillies, speaking of which, rolled out the red carpet for Patrick Corbin yesterday. He came to Citizens Bank Park. They put his face photoshopped with a Phillies uniform on it on the scoreboard for him. Let me tell you something. That's all well and good. That's nice and cute and everything. But let me tell you, all the Yankees have to do to get him to sign is have him come to Yankee Stadium and have the first guy meet him be Andy Pettitte. And it's over. You can tune up the fat lady. Because I don't care. I mean, unless the Phillies are going to offer him some ridiculous contract, like $170 million, that guy's going to be a Yankee if Andy Pettitte is the first face he sees when he comes to visit the Yankees. And it's over. Because that, you know what, and I don't get very, I am usually very, cautiously optimistic about things, or just maybe cautious in general. But I'll tell you, man, all the Yankees have to do is put Andy Pettitte. You can put a Yankee, you can superimpose a Yankee uniform and a cap on him and put that on the scoreboard. But it'd be even better if him and Andy Pettitte were pointing at it out from behind home plate, hey, that could be you. And Patrick Corbin's just I love you, Andy Pettitte.
You put Andy Pettitte and Corbin right next to each other like this.
Yeah,
with the glove.
Yeah, there you go.
Up on the screen.
You know what I would do? You know what I would do if I were the Yankees? I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing as the Phillies did. I'd put his likeness on the scoreboard with the Yankee hat and the and the jersey and everything, and then I'd have the bullpen door swing open, and I'd have Andy Pettitte jog out to the mound.
Oh my Lord! To
meet him. It's over. Ball game. Tune up the fat lady. Patrick Corbin will be in pinstripes in a matter of minutes.
I will play for a bag of nickels.
He'll be I think I need to sit down right now because things are getting a little...
His hand just starts all of a sudden just starts signing his name, just randomly in the air. Where's the paper? Where's the paper?
Right. Yeah. It'll be over. It'll be over. That's it.
I can't send my name. My hand's shaking.
And again, for those of you who don't understand why I'm mentioning all this about Andy Pettitte, Patrick Corbin, that is his idol. That is his pitching idol. He grew up in Syracuse. He grew up a Yankee fan. He grew up loving Andy Pettitte. He wears number 46, Andy Pettitte's number. That's probably the only thing that he wouldn't get coming to the Yankees. I don't think he would be able to wear that number.
It'd be a missed opportunity if the Yankees don't do something with Andy Pettitte.
Oh my God, how would they not? I mean, come on. Again, this is one of those things where, like, if you and I are thinking it, then Brian Cashman has to be thinking it because theoretically he needs to be better at his job than we would be at his job.
Yeah, but it's, there's schedules that fall, and like he would have, so it really,
But Andy Pettitte loves the Yankees, and if as long as there is not, you know what, they'd probably try and move a schedule. If, like, Pettitte said, I can't be available that day, but I can be available this day, they'd probably say, Patrick, we need you to show up this day instead.
Can you spend the night?
Can you spend the night? We'll wine and dine you. We'll do everything the Phillies did, except we'll do it in New York. No offense to you, Philly, but you guys crapped all over Santa Claus, okay? These are the Yankees. As Joe Pacetto would say, these are the New York Yankees. You're coming to New York, dude. I mean, look, I remember I was seeing, like, all these tweets yesterday, like, oh, he's visiting Citizens Bank Park. There was no, and then you had, like, all these people on Twitter, like, don't let him get out of Citizens Bank Park without signing a contract. This is not the NFL. It doesn't work the same way.
Right.
Okay? Because in the NFL, you're dealing with the salary cap. And you have to use up those salary cap dollars on the guys that you want as quickly as possible. That's why these deals, like, as soon as NFL free agency opens, you're already hearing about the deals because they've already been made behind the scenes before the actual, before it actually gets out of the gate. It doesn't work that way in baseball. There's a lot more patience in baseball. People wait till the winter meetings before they start. Most of the time, guys want to have contracts inked before Christmas.
Yes.
Because they just want that comfort.
It's just
knowing
a nice Christmas present.
It's a nice Christmas. It's great for you. Hey!
I just signed a $100 million contract.
Hey, little Cam. Hey, little Isla. We're millionaires. Enjoy the holidays.
Yes,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Right. So
you're gonna get your pony. You're gonna get your
right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so for me, I can't get, like, too worked up over all these people were like. Did you really think that Patrick Corbin was leaving Philadelphia with a contract yesterday? That was not happening.
That would be just a boneheaded move by anybody that did that. Because you have to test the free agency market. Yeah,
you got to test the free. And
I wouldn't be surprised, even if after he leaves New York, he doesn't sign the next day. Like, I would be surprised.
I don't expect
if he doesn't go
to
multiple places. He's going to visit Dodgers. He's going to visit these guys. He's going to visit everybody just to entertain them, see where his price is worth.
If you're a free agent, you have to go through this process. I would imagine it's a very enjoyable process to go through. You've got guys who are wooing you left and right, throwing ridiculous amounts. Don't pay for a thing. You're getting put up in nice hotels. Yep. And this happens probably once in your career.
Yeah, maybe twice if you're lucky.
Maybe twice if you're really, really good. Yeah. But for the most part, this is happening once. I mean, for Machado and for Harper, it's going to be the same thing, especially in their cases, because they're probably signing anywhere from 8 to 10-year deals, and at that point, they'll be in their mid to late 30s, and those opportunities are not going to be there. And for Patrick Corbin, who's 29, this is his one big opportunity, not only to cash in, he's going to make $100 million plus, but this is his one opportunity to go through that experience. You have to live it up. I mean,
because baseball, sports in general, is such a negative place. Like, you're constantly on the trading block, which you think your team doesn't like you and want you anymore. Like, that rips you apart inside. There's a lot of things that and then you go to, like, arbitration stuff, the hearings, and those are ugly. And they just basically tell you how bad you are.
Right.
And you have to tell them how good you are, which it's such an ugly time of, like, this thing that happens in sports. And yeah, if you're going to be wined and dined, and you're going to be told how awesome you are for a little while. Absolutely,
dude,
take it when you can get it.
All over that. I'd be all over that. I'd be like, but I would want, like, if I were a free agent though, I would want to sign before Christmas. I would try and hit all those spots.
And he's making the rounds at the right time.
If you're Patrick Corbin, the bottom line is you probably have. My guess is he probably has 3 spots. Mm-hmm. Philly, New York, and then maybe one other one that I'm not thinking of that he would legitimately sign. He's going to end up in one of probably 3 places, I would guess. And realistically, it's probably either Philly or New York. The Yankees will make their pitch. There's no doubt about it. And then he's going to, he's either going to go where the money is, which could be Philly, because Philly will probably be more aggressive financially.
Yeah.
Or he's going to go and try and pitch on the same mound that Andy Pettitte went and won 5 World Series with the Yankees for.
Not the same one. But
which one? Well, no, two different mounts. But which one are you going to pick, though? Who are you going to go with? Are you going to take a little bit more money to go to Philadelphia and that bandbox and get lit up? Maybe. Or, I mean, we know Yankee Stadium is a bandbox, but it obviously plays much better to left field than it does to right.
Yeah.
So, you know, which one are you going to do? I mean, to me, it would probably be a no-brainer, but again, he grew up a Yankee fan. This is like, his family loves the Yankees. There was no way he was leaving Philadelphia as a Philly yesterday. That was never going to happen. And I actually saw like tweets on Twitter because people just get carried away. Like he signed with the Phillies. Like, no, he didn't. No, he did not. I mean, he may. I'm not saying he won't.
Right. Because
I'm just saying there was no way he was. Oh, of course they are.
Yeah.
But there was no way he was leaving there yesterday with a contract. There was no way that guy was not going to play out the free agency process.
And Corbin, I mean, he knows exactly what's going to happen to his ERA if he goes to Philly. It's going to probably go up a little bit.
He's in the fours.
I think it'll be high threes, maybe high threes.
Close to 4.
Yeah. But, and he, they are an up and coming good team,
Sure.
But still, he would be probably the ace of that staff. And he's not an ace.
Yeah. No, he's not. No,
he's at best a 2, like a
is
really, really good 2.
He is much better suited to the Yankees rotation where he would slot in as their 3 or 4.
And even when you're a 3 or 4, you can win a ton of games and you can just relish in the victories and the playoff berths. And
honestly, I don't see how he could possibly be higher than a 3 because my guess is it would be
in the Yankees rotation. Yeah,
and actually it's more likely that he's a 4
right.
because Severino is without a doubt still going to be your 1, which
right.
means you're going to go with a lefty next, and that's going to be Paxton. Sorry, Patrick Corbin. And then you're going to go back to righty, which is Tanaka, and then you're going to go back to lefty, which is going to be Corbin Cece.
Yeah.
So he's your 4.
Yeah.
Now imagine how much less pressure there is on him.
Corbin in the number 2 spot. You could do that at Paxton. Him and Paxton are close. I mean, Paxton's got probably better stuff, but he's also hurt more. So there's you might want to lessen his load a little bit.
I'd still have Paxton be my 2.
But no, I mean, no matter what, the Yankees still have to sign. They have to sign one more pitcher. I still think they should go to a 6-man rotation. I think they should go to a 6-man. I mean, in addition to if they get Corbin, they have to get. They need 6 guys.
I think what's interesting about
I think it'll be Hap if they don't get Mad Bum.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about your theoretical trade though is that they financially would have the flexibility to do it because in getting Mad Bum, you're not taking on a big contract.
Not until next year.
Even until next year, if you sign him to that extension, which of course you're going to do. I mean, of course you have to do.
Yeah.
And good for Mad Bum. He deserves to get paid. I mean, he's going to get paid. You just have to hope that the nagging injuries that he's had, and then of course the motorcycle accident, really haven't sapped him.
Right.
His fastball is definitely down a few miles an hour, which is definitely, I mean, at his age too, he's only 28, 29. That's a bit of a concern. You don't want to see those numbers start to, trend in the wrong direction. So there are some concerns there with Mad Bum, but I still think, the potential of what he gives you in October that's what you're signing him for.
Yeah.
You're going to pay that guy $20 million a year for October.
Yeah. I'm not 100%. I'm not really all that worried about Mad Bum that much. I mean, I think he's going to he didn't have a full season of recovery. This coming year is going to be a full season off.
Right.
He's going to be able to rehab the arm a little bit more, be out there chopping wood and all that kind of stuff that he does.
Right.
Likes to
well,
do.
All that manly crap that he does. Yes.
Carrying his motorcycle down on one arm. Whatever he does.
Him and Carson Wentz probably go bowling on the weekends.
Yes. They go shooting off the highway, kill some birds and some other, they just go and kill things with their hands.
Can you imagine if those two hung out? Like you and me would be like that Chris Farley gif, where he like turns the glasses up.
Yeah.
We would be like, oh my god.
That could happen if he ends up in New York. I mean, they're a lot closer at that point in time, both on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if he got traded to the Phillies.
No,
then he's right there.
No, don't do that.
That's possible.
But I mean, he pitched
well on the list.
Yeah, he pitched. I mean, he pitched well last year. 3.26 ERA. His WHIP was up a little higher, but that's because his strikeout totals were a little bit lower than they normally are, but not that much lower. So I'm not that worried about him.
I think the question for the Giants here too is, and I could see, because Mad Bum to me is one of those guys. I could see this. I could see it both ways. Like, I could see you extending him, of course. Why wouldn't you? He's an absolute legend. He's one of the guys that helped bring a dynasty to your organization. But I can also see you trading him and getting an absolute ransom for him, and really putting your team in a spot to rebuild for many years to not rebuild, but to stack up for many years to come and be very competitive for a long, long time.
I mean, you're reloading. If you reloaded with like Sonny Gray, you had Betances as your closer. You have Andujar or Torres playing in the middle infield and middle or third, and then you have Frazier as your new left fielder. I mean, that's a lot. And they could offer even more. They could be here's Tyler Wade. Here's and Tyler Wade could play well in the National League.
He could.
I mean, there are many people that they could throw at the San Francisco as long as they get a 24-hour window.
Yeah, they got to guess. Yeah, that has to happen. But that has to happen.
And Madison Bumgarner doesn't seem like the guy who's out there looking for $30 million a year for 10 years. I
don't think so.
He's looking for championships. Wants to make his name as a World Series winner.
Legend.
Yeah, and that's what he is.
He is if he were to win, if he were to have been part of the Giants dynasty, and then he were to help the Yankees win World Series, he would be a legitimate legend of the fall. I mean, that would be his moniker. Mm-hmm. I mean, that would I could see the Sports Illustrated cover, if the Yankees won the World Series next year and Mad Bum was the winning pitcher in the deciding game. I could see the cover, Legend of the Fall, with Mad Bum in full extension in a Yankee road gray uniform. Oh my god! I gotta stop.
Spinning out of control. All right. Well, this is thank you guys for listening and watching. However you did this, if you did it on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. You can also find us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, anywhere podcasts are played, where you get the audio only version. Just type in Sports and Sorts any of those places, and you'll find us. You can also find us at Facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman, Twitter @ShaneandBryman. We have a website, which is www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. And you can find me on Twitter, Shane Moore, @Einhorn_Finkel.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man.
And then you can find him stalking Mad Bum wherever he may land.
Yeah.
Hopefully in pinstripes. I think my trade makes sense. I think it makes sense.
I still think there is a better than 50% chance that they do not trade. Although I do think they will get offers that will absolutely make them turn their heads a little.
Yeah.
I still ultimately think it's going to be hard. That's a hard sell to the Giant fan base to trade him. Unless they get really, really overwhelmed.
I don't see it being that difficult. You got to be we got to prepare for the future. Madison Bumgarner, he's not going to be around when this team is good again.
He could be, though. He could be. It's hard to say.
They are not going to be good for at least 3 more years.
I think the tough part in that division is you're dealing with the Dodgers and their financial resources, and that's tough. That's very difficult.
Yeah. The Rockies aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
The Rockies and the D-backs are competitive too, so it's a very competitive division. Yeah. So I can understand why they're doing this. I do get it, but I also think it's very hard to just unload that guy.
I agree. All right, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to talk about in future episodes. Go ahead and post it in the comment section, and we will try and get it on for you. One thing that I've always wanted to talk about, and this might be for a future episode. So don't give me your answer now. And this is regarding your face. Do you think the Yankees should get rid of their clean-shaven face?
Oh, who cares? Yes, I've never cared about that. How can I sit here looking like looking
I think they should be presentable.
Sit here
but not if you have a beard. Who cares?
Right, exactly.
Don't have patches of hair growing out here and over there.
I don't want guys walking around with Justin Turner, ZZ Top beards. This isn't bad. I mean, this is thick, but this isn't out of control.
You could sculpt it.
Yeah, of course. I do sculpt it. I have beard creams that I use.
Nice.
Yes, for styling and I don't do it for show. I should. I always have this weird patch here that just hangs down. Anyways, real quick before we go out. If you're on Facebook and you're spending exorbitant amounts of time commenting on White House Christmas decorations, I have 3 words for you. Get a job. Get a job. Find employment somewhere. Look, I know none of us like Donald Trump. We are mostly all in that boat. Well, there are 40% of us that do like him. But look, for the 60% of us that don't like that guy, I get it. You want to save your comments for other things that are more important, that's fine. But commenting on the White House Christmas decor? Give Melania Trump one thing, huh? I mean, look what the poor woman has to deal with, for God's sakes. Give her just like this one thing. Now, I understand she made the decision to marry him, so she made that bed. She does have to sleep in it, but still, you know what? And I don't get me wrong, I have laughed at some of the memes of the Christmas decorations, especially all the horror movie stuff, because it is funny. But man, oh man, if you have time to be out there commenting incessantly on White House Christmas decorations, you gotta get in the employment line. You gotta get some work. You have to get a job. You just have to. You have to. Now, I know some people will say, well, how do you find the time in the day to do a podcast? This is actually my lunch break. I am doing this on an early lunch break. That's how this works for me. Okay? So this is me making the time I'm taking time out of my work, my allotted lunch break work schedule to do this show. If you're out there all day on Facebook commenting on White House Christmas decorations, find a job. Stay classy, Planet Globe. We'll see you on Saturday.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.